Hey everybody, it's Brian here at the B-Dubs Movie Hub. And this past Friday and Saturday, I went to the Chiller Theater Convention here in New Jersey. So I just wanted to kind of talk about the people I met, the autographs I got, and some of the physical media that I may or may not have picked up. So sit tight and let's talk about Chiller Convention. So ChillerCon is something that is done twice a year here in New Jersey. It's held in Parsippany, so it's not too far from me. It's maybe like a half hour away. And they do it twice a year. So they do one in April and then one in October. I did go this past October in 2024, and I did a video on that. I'll probably share that at the end here just in case any new subscribers that didn't get to see that video can check that out. But I did attend this one again. The guest list was pretty good, and I think that's really kind of what drew me to it. There was a late ad. I usually have the last two cons I did. I had the website up, and I kind of scrolled through to show off like all the celebrities that were going to be there. But I didn't save the link this time, and Chiller resets it after the convention. So they're getting ready for the next one coming up in October. So there's no guests shown right now, but one of the big ones that they added late was Linda Blair. So she was kind of the main draw to this con. I actually ended up deciding not to meet her this round because I had already kind of laid out some of the people that I wanted to meet, and I wasn't really budgeting for, an extra person. She did have the longest lines on Saturday. I think her lines were actually a little bit better Friday. Didn't seem like there was as many people there on Friday, so I think her lines were a little bit better. I did check out her prices, and she was a little bit more on the steeper side, but I did learn after the fact that she actually donates all the proceeds to her charity, which I think is really, really nice. So I'm hoping that next time she comes around to, whether it's Chiller or NJ HorrorCon or maybe Monster Mania, if I can get down to that one, that she comes back, I will definitely would like to meet her and donate to the cause. I didn't take a ton of video. I don't normally like to walk around with my phone out and trying to respect some people's privacies, but I did get a little bit of video here that I'll kind of show off just of some of the physical media stands that they have. So here's one that I remember from last time. They have basically all DVDs. There's another table here with some more kind of DVDs, mostly DVDs in this one. We do have Severin. They were there again. They were there last time as well, and I did pick up something from them back in October. And of course, we have one of my favorites, and that's Vinegar Syndrome. They have been a pretty constant at all of the chillers, I think. I always look forward to checking out the physical media that are at the convention. So I did pick up a few 4Ks and Blu-rays at the convention. So I'll show those off toward the end. But let's get into it. Let's go through everybody that I met. Like I said, on Friday, I went with my buddy Greg. I mention him all the time. He's a good friend of mine. He's gone to a couple of these conventions now with me. So we went in and checked out Friday together. And then on Saturday, I went by myself just to kind of meet a few other people. I probably could have knocked everybody out the first day. Everybody that I met was there both days. But I had already bought 2 tickets, so I decided to go the second day by myself. All right, so I figure I'll kind of talk about who I met and show off a picture, and if I got an autograph, I will show what I got signed by them. So first up on Friday, we met Keith Cook, who was in the original Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation. He played Reptile in Mortal Kombat and Sub-Zero in Annihilation. So we did meet him. Here's a picture of the two of us. He was a really nice guy. It was nice to talk to him for a little bit. My buddy had him sign a copy of China O'Brien that he purchased at the Vinegar Syndrome booth. So I did tell him I had just seen that for the first time this year. He mentioned he actually just did another movie with Cynthia Rothrock. I guess it's going to be coming out later this year, so it'll be interesting to see that movie. I had him sign my Mortal Kombat insert, so he signed this one here. Keith Cook, Reptile, and I don't know, I just didn't think this was good enough, so I had him sign Mortal Kombat Annihilation as well. So he was nice enough to sign both and put his character name on each one. So that is Keith Cook. He was, like I said, super nice guy, and it was really nice to meet him. I kind of wish I had brought China O'Brien as well, because he probably would have signed that, because I think my buddy had him sign both Mortal Kombat and China O'Brien. But anyway, after we met Keith Cook, we were walking around a little bit. We ended up dipping into one of these smaller rooms down a hallway, and there was a bunch of like Terrifier posters and Fallout posters from the new show on Amazon. And there was an actress there named Michelle Santiago. So we got kind of talking with her. My buddy decided to get a picture and an autograph from her. And she ended up taking a selfie with the two of us on her phone. So that's this picture here. So because was nice enough to kind of take a picture of the both of us, I decided to also purchase an autograph. So I did purchase the Terrifier poster here. So this is kind of, it's a little, it's on the smaller side, so it's nice. So she signed it here, Michelle Santiago, and I figured this is a nice thing if I get down to Monster Mania at some point, and if David Howard Thornton and Lauren Rivera are there, I can maybe try to have them sign it as well, and just kind of get some of the rest of the cast members on here. So I think that'll be a nice little thing to maybe get signed by multiple actors from Terrifier. So super nice. I know she said she did a couple episodes of Fallout, which I need to watch. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking out Fallout, and looking for Michelle on that one, because, like I said, super nice and really, really friendly person. One of the other people I wanted to meet at Chiller was James Remar. So he is from Mortal Kombat Annihilation. He played Raiden, but I think one of his bigger movies is The Warriors. So I had this set here, the Arrow video set, and there was a poster in here. So I figured I would bring that and get that signed by James, and I also got a picture with him. And then here's the autograph. I had him sign this side of the poster, which I thought was really cool. So he wrote, "To Brian, no fucking wimps, James Remar," and then wrote his character name, Ajax, on there. There were some other members of the Warriors there. I think there were 6 Lizzies from the cast, and then a couple other characters there. I believe it was the guy who played Vermin and the guy who played Fox. I opted not to meet them this time. Again, I had kind of already picked out the people I wanted to see. I was kind of budgeting for that. So I think in time, if they come back around to Chiller, I know Remar has done Chiller a couple times. It would be nice to get some more signatures on this poster. And I'm hoping maybe I can get this framed and, hung up here somewhere, either on this wall back here or over on the wall on the side here. I got plenty of room over here. So I'm definitely looking to put some posters up there. But James Remar was super nice, very nice guy. Had a nice little conversation about him. And I actually ended up, Friday night when I got home from Chiller, I ended up watching The Warriors because it had been too long. So it was really, really fun to watch that after meeting a member of the cast. So he was, again, super awesome, super nice guy. So in the same room that James Remar was in was Donald Logue, and I was really excited to meet him because he's just been in a ton of stuff that I've watched over the years. He was in Blade, he's been in some TV shows. Obviously, he was in Gotham, which is a really, really good show. I really enjoyed that when it was on. He's been in episodes of Law & Order SVU and Sons of Anarchy. So he's just been kind of a little bit of everything that I've watched over the years. So it was really nice to meet him. Super nice guy. He was telling me about when he was shooting Gotham and Law & Order, basically like the same nights. He was going from one set to the other and just working these really long days and nights. And I kind of commended him on that, because that's got to be really, really tough work to do something like that. So yeah, he was just a really great guy. I didn't have him autograph anything. I just got the picture with him. I think for me that was just good enough. I didn't get autographs from everybody that I met. So after I met Donald Logue, my buddy had a photo op with John Ratzenberger. So while he was off doing that, I went over and I met Gina Gershon. The line was pretty long earlier Friday evening, but by the time I got around, there was like nobody in line. So it was nice to kind of not have to wait as long for someone that I thought would have been kind of a bigger draw. I thought she would have had a bit of a longer line, but I did meet her. Here's a photo of Gina Gershon and I. She was really nice. I talked to her a little bit about Showgirls and how that movie kind of gets kind of gets a bad rap. I mean, it's not the greatest movie in the world, but I rewatched it recently, and I don't know, it's not as bad as I remember it being, and I kind of thoroughly enjoyed it watching it, all these years later. And then I talked about, of course, her awesome death scene in Thanksgiving. So I thought that was really fun to talk to her about that. But she was super nice, so I was really glad to meet Gina Gershon there. So that had wrapped up the Friday guests that I met. So I went back on Saturday morning. I had the early access. So the show opens at 10. The early access gets you in an hour earlier. Not all the guests are usually at their tables, kind of first thing. Most of them kind of rolling around that 10 o'clock time frame. I do know that there was some people that were waiting pretty long time for, like I said, Linda Blair. Believe people were waiting almost 2 to 2.5 hours. She didn't show up right away. I think she came a little later, so they had already gotten in line. So that was a little bit unfortunate for the folks that were waiting for her. But from what I heard, she was really fantastic once they all met her. So again, I'm hoping to maybe meet her another time. But I got in, actually, they let us in a little bit before 9 o'clock, and I was walking around, and one of the other guests that I had wanted to meet was actually supposed to be there in October, and he had to cancel, and that's Eric Roberts. So I was surprised to see that he was actually at his table early. He was there, I think, before 9 o'clock, because like I said, we got in a little bit before 9, and I kind of walked around the vendor area a little bit, but they weren't totally set up, so then I kind of started walking around to see if any of the guests were out, and I walked past the room he was in and saw him, so I went back in and I grabbed a photo with Eric Roberts here. And I don't know, he's super nice guy. I told him how I always watched Best of the Best when I was a kid because I really loved that movie. Really fun karate movie. He thanked me for the kind words, and he had a little fun with the photo here. So as you can see, the second one, he took a second picture, ended up covering my eyes with it, which I thought was kind of funny. So, but really nice to meet Eric Roberts. I'm glad that he was able to reschedule and come back to the April show since he wasn't able to do the October one. The next person I wanted to meet was Lee Tergesen. He wasn't at his table just yet, so I kind of just roamed around for a bit, and I saw his handler was kind of setting up not too late, so I kind of just kept an eye on it and ended up seeing him in there, so I hopped into the room that he was in, got on his line. There was only a few people in line since it was on the earlier side, and I was able to meet Lee Tergesen from Oz. Is kind of the one thing that I really liked him in. He's obviously been in Point Break. He had a really good role in that. And he's also in Wayne's World. So, but for me, Oz was just such a fantastic show in the 90s. If you've never seen Oz, you should check it out. It's pretty brutal, and there's a lot of hard scenes to watch, but it's such a great show. I rewatched it recently with my wife a couple years ago. She had never seen it, so I wanted to introduce her to it there. And she really liked it, so I kind of told him how I introduced my wife to it, and she really liked the relationship between him and Christopher Maloney's character. And he kind of talked a little bit about that, because back in the 90s, there wasn't a lot of shows with two guys kissing, and he kind of talked about how Maloney just said to make it super passionate, and that's how they kind of rolled with it. So really, really fun talking to him about his experience on Oz and his time in there. He was basically the main character throughout all, I think, 4 or 5, 6 seasons, whatever it ended up being. But a really nice guy, and I was really happy to meet Lee Tergesen. Another one of the big names that I was looking forward to meeting was Michael Biehn. If the name sounds familiar, it's because he was in a ton of stuff in the 80s. Terminator, The Abyss, his early 90 roles with Tombstone. So I was really looking forward to meeting him. I actually did end up waiting a little bit longer on his line. It was probably one of the longest lines. He wasn't there right at 10 o'clock, so I walked around and kept checking back and forth. His line was actually right next to the Linda Blair line, so you can I could kind of see how long that line was getting. But eventually I saw him set up, so hopped over, got in line. It was really funny because his son was the one kind of going around and bringing people up to pay. And then eventually he was walking around and he gave out this little podcast thing with this QR code on it. And I guess it's called Just Fooling About with Michael Biehn. And it was really nice that he handed these out, and it was also autographed. So I was talking to a couple people in line, and we thought that maybe it was printed on, but we actually matched them up against each other and realized that it's a real signature. So you kind of got a free Michael Bean autograph when you were in line, which I thought was really nice because they did not have to do that. Um, but I did just grab a photo with him, talk to him a little bit about, just the movies I had seen when I was younger, and just kind of, again, he's one of those guys that's just been in so many things. I was actually going to watch Tombstone that night, and because it had been so long since I had seen it, and obviously with Val Kilmer passing away, and Michael Bean is a pretty big character in that as one of the bad guys. So really nice guy, again, just super super fun to talk to, and yeah, really good meeting him. Next up, I stopped by Lauren Elenia's booth. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. She is a cosplayer and actress who actually subscribed to my channel a few months back after I posted my New Jersey Horror Con video, and then kind of reached out to me on Instagram as well, so I made sure to follow her on both. But I told her I'd stop by the booth since I didn't run into her at NJ HorrorCon. So I stopped by, I got this nice picture with her, chatted a little bit, and then I had her sign the poster for a movie that she's going to be in coming out later this year called Then Came a Rainbow. So she signed this one there, and it looks like her character's name is Emily. So, and she told me she did the design of the poster, so I thought that was really cool that she had kind of a hand in that. But I don't know, I'm kind of looking forward to checking this out. I got to follow the Instagram for at Then Came a Rainbow because I want to kind of keep an eye on that because I'm not sure when it's going to come out. I know she said later this year, so it'd be interesting to check that out on whatever maybe streaming service it might be on. So yeah, super nice to meet Lauren at the Chiller convention. One of the final guests that I wanted to meet, and another kind of big name. Like I said, they had a lot of really good guests this year, or at this first one for 2025. And I really wanted to meet Michael Madsen, and I almost passed on it because I had kind of wrapped up pretty much everybody else I wanted to meet, and he was actually running pretty late on Saturday. I know people got in his line kind of early at 9 o'clock as I kept walking through. He was in the same room as Lee Tergesen, and so I'd seen people kind of online, and then all of a sudden the line was gone, and there was nothing set up at the table, so I thought maybe he had canceled. A little later on, there was a little note on the table saying that he was going to be there at noon. So he did show up. He was there at noon. His line was very long. I think he was kind of, like I said, one of the bigger draws, along with Linda Blair and Michael Bean. But toward the end of the day, I decided to hop in line. I waited maybe a half hour. I mean, it wasn't too long. Like I said, I think I waited probably the longest to meet Michael Bean and Michael Madsen. So I did grab this picture with him. He sat the entire time, so he wasn't standing up for any pictures or anything like that, but that was fine. And his voice was a little raspy. I know he's getting a little older, but I also did get an autograph picture, so I had him sign this one here. There wasn't many from Reservoir Dogs, but that's probably one of my favorite movies that he's in, so yeah, I wanted to get this one signed by him. So grabbed that autograph from Michael Madsen. He was super nice, like I said, very, very quiet, but very nice. Shook my hand here, like I said, like you can see in the picture. But yeah, just very nice to meet him. In all honesty, every guest that I met was really nice. I feel like you do hear some horror stories of guests that can be a little rude or just, not seemingly wanting to be at the conventions. But to be honest, everybody that I met, that was not the experience. Everybody was great and just super fun to talk to. There's a couple other, just a few random photos they had outside here. They had the Bat Pod from The Dark Knight, and then the mystery van from Scooby-Doo. They always have some sort of vehicle outside or two from some show or movie, so I thought that was really neat there. One other thing I thought was interesting, when I was in line to meet Michael Bean, the guy in front of me had this really cool cardboard RV that he made from The Walking Dead, and I thought it was really impressive, and I was kind of just looking it over, and it had all the signatures from multiple cast members of The Walking Dead. Michael Bean was in an episode of The Walking Dead, so he wanted to get him to sign it, and I just thought this thing was pretty impressive. There was a picture on top of him actually sitting in it. He wears it as a costume, which I think is really funny, but Yeah, he went to Walker Stalker Convention back in, I don't remember what year he said, but a few years ago he went there and he got the majority of the signatures there. So I don't know, I just thought this was really cool. He let me take a couple pictures of it, which was really, really neat. So I did want to show off some of the physical media that I picked up. I purchased a couple items from the Severin booth and then a couple items from Vinegar Syndrome. It's no secret, big Vinegar Syndrome fan, so I had to pick up a couple. There was two that I really wanted to get, and like I said, I hadn't been purchasing from the website as much of their normal releases as I'm waiting for sales, but there were two that I really wanted to get, so I did pick those up. So the first ones I picked up were from the Severin booth, and this one I had wanted to grab for a while. I heard about it when it came out, and that is Delamorte Delamore, also Cemetery Man here. So they had a few of these left, so I grabbed one of this one. I had never seen it, but I don't know, it looked kind of interesting, so definitely looking forward to checking out this one. I also picked up two Dario Argento movies. The first one was Four Flies on Grey Velvet. I don't know, I don't watch a lot of the giallos. I think I'm saying that correctly, but I've heard some good things about these, so I wanted to grab this one, so I picked this up, and definitely looking forward to watching this one. I haven't really seen many of Argento's movies, so I want to check that out. And then the other one I grabbed was Opera, which was one of the newer Severin releases from a few months back. So yeah, I like these little, they're kind of like the little chunky boxes, similar to Arrow. But those are the three that I got from the Severin booth there. And then from Vinegar Syndrome, I grabbed The Carpenter, starring Wings Hauser, who passed away earlier this year. And I watched a few of the Vinegar Syndrome movies that he was in that I did own. This one came out a couple months before he passed away. This one came out. So I don't know. I think Wings Hauser is just a wild actor, and I wanted to get this one for the collection. So that's The Carpenter. And then the other one that I picked up from Vinegar Syndrome, I'm going to need to cover this somehow because there's some nips, but I got Murder Rock. So this is another, I think, giallo type movie. YouTube doesn't like boobs, so I got to cover the front cover here. I guess I can actually flip it around because that's the back there. There's no boobs on the back. So, but yeah, that's Murder Rock. And this comes with like a book too, which is really neat. I'm not gonna open the whole thing here, but yeah, this is the booklet there. So I don't know. I think this was part of their April releases, so it seemed pretty popular, so I didn't know if it was going to sell out, so I made sure to grab it. Again, I'll just show the back and the side there, Murder Rock. So these are just a few of the physical media editions I picked up, and there's the two from Vinegar Syndrome. But before I wrap this up, I did want to say that I ran into fellow YouTubers, the Marshalls, Bill and Vicky, and we kind of saw each other in passing while they were going to meet someone, and I was kind of on the way out of that room. But we did bump into each other again toward the end. I think we were both getting ready to leave, so I stood outside. We were talking a bit. Super nice couple. I really love their channel. I'm going to drop a link down below to their channel so you can follow them if you haven't. They go to conventions all the time. They did go to Chiller back in October. I'm pretty sure they went to Monster Mania. Unfortunately, I did miss that one. And there were some other fellow YouTubers at the convention that I did not run into. Hopefully next time I can meet you guys, because I think it's really fun to meet people from this community. It's really great. Like I said, the Marshalls are super awesome people, and it was really, really nice to meet you guys. So that's it. That is my experience at the April 2025 Chiller Convention. I had a lot of fun doing it. This is the first time I've gone 2 days. Like I said, I probably could have done everything in one. We'll see if I go in October again, if I decide to do 1 or 2 days, or maybe just do the Saturday, because I feel like I could spend a little bit longer there on the Saturday. And I was there pretty quickly Friday. There wasn't a lot of people, so the lines weren't very long. We were kind of in and out in, I don't know, 2 hours or so, which is not bad, right, for a Friday night. So I don't know. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it, and I met some really great guests, got a couple autographs, got some really good physical media, and I'm looking forward to going back again, hopefully in October. and maybe to New Jersey HorrorCon if they come back around to Edison. I know there's one down in Atlantic City. That's a little further for me. It's like 2.5, 3 hours. So I'd have to make that like an overnight trip. So I don't know if I'll do that, but definitely looking forward to going to Chiller again in October, especially if they have a guest list like they did this time around. It was really, really an impressive list of people that they put together. And I'm hoping to maybe get down to Monster Mania in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I haven't been to that one. I know that's a pretty big convention. I did hear people talking about it, and when we were waiting in line Saturday, they said that they had gone to the one earlier this year, and it's way busier, a lot more people. The lines are a lot longer that they were waiting on, they said. But I don't know. I think they usually have a pretty impressive guest list there. And like I said, the cast of Terrifier has been there a couple times. So I'm hoping maybe I can bring that Terrifier 2 poster and get it signed by some more cast members of Terrifier. But that's basically it. Again, I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And share this out with your movie loving friends. I'm on Letterboxd, Instagram, and Facebook. I'll put the link in the description below to all the social media platforms. Thank you again for watching, and I'll catch you next time.